Hey everyone, welcome to Weekly Weather Brief. You're listening to your bite-sized weekly weather podcast where we talk about some of the more interesting things that captured the attention in the weather, climate, and science world of the week. I'm meteorologist Kerrin Jeromin. My usual co-host is off enjoying a wonderful family vacation, as I hope everyone gets to do, because it's summer after all. And I'm joined by a special guest host, which I'm super excited to have on today. Irene Sans. Irene, it has been a minute since we have gotten a chance to actually see each other in person, so super glad to have you on the show. Let me give a quick introduction and then we'll get going. So Irene, for those who are not familiar, I hope you are, because she's amazing. She's an Emmy-winning, double AMS certified meteorologist with more than 15 years of experience covering severe weather, climate stories, and beyond across the US and Latin America. And Irene is a bilingual communicator who has delivered forecasts across television, radio, digital platforms, and beyond. She is the country manager for the Spanish version of the Weather and Radar app. And you can also catch her contributions to the Florida Public Radio Emergency Network and Yale Climate Connections. Okay, Irene, did I get all of it right?
I think you did. Let me see if you're missing. No, you're good. At least for now, right?
Well, now you can add guest host to Weekly Weather Brief. So glad to have you on the show and nice to see you again.
Thank you. Nice to see you. It's been several minutes, Kerrin, and I'm so happy when you reached out. I'm excited about this.
Several minutes indeed, like a couple of years, maybe pre-COVID, we determined was the last time in human form.
Yeah, a whole lifetime and everything ago.
That's the beauty of digital world. We come back together and we talk about weather because, Irene, you are still actively involved in the weather and forecasting. For those listeners who don't know, I used to be a broadcast meteorologist, don't do it anymore. So this show is like, your water cooler talk of things going on, but I'm excited that you bring real-time knowledge of some of the events this week, including probably the one that everyone has on their mind this week. Your top story of the week was
Bertha. What a mess of a storm. I mean, it was messy. It was lopsided. It was, I think, everything that you don't expect from a tropical system, right? I mean, we know that anything is fair with tropical systems, but this one was just weird. I mean, you were just getting winds, but along the immediate coast, yes, we're getting rain bands along the Gulf Coast, but people are still going on with their days. I was watching coverage the other day, and the local meteorologist was just saying, we're just doing break-ins. That's it. We would usually be wall to wall. I mean, we've worked on TV, so we know what a tropical storm or what severe weather means.
Right.
So we sleep on the studio.
Yes, exactly. You sleep under the desk of HR office usually when there's a tropical storm. But
right?
Yeah, you're right. This one is a little bit different, I think, and not just for people who cover it and the meteorologists that are covering it, but for people along the coast, right? You hear tropical storm, you hear hurricane, you get your preps. And this one, wasn't exactly a boom, I think, which is great, right? We don't want huge impacts, but
it's great.
It challenges the communication, I think, of it all.
It definitely does, because I was talking to a meteorologist friend of mine yesterday about this. It made landfall, possibly a second landfall. It's been wobbling along the coast throughout the entire day on Thursday. So we'll see what the National Hurricane Center says. If it did make a second landfall or if it's just the center of the center stayed inland.
Yeah, it was like hugging that Louisiana and Texas coast is there the whole time, but at least one official landfall, declared in Louisiana, and then, like you said, just kind of scooted along the coast the whole time. Yeah. So really close to populations, but not a huge impact as tropical systems go.
Yeah, and I think that what I want residents, regardless if they were in a warmed area or not, it's to realize that this storm is different and that the next storm, it's going to be different.
Bingo.
And that, first, the movement to the west, it's rare. I mean, we've only had, I think, 2 storms that have moved east to west, strictly east to west across the Gulf. There were some that moved north and, to the northwest, yes, but it's like horizontally, 2, Fernand and I think Erica. And then, just the wind shear that pushed all the convection and all the thunderstorms to the Gulf. So I mean, you cannot guarantee that the next storm is going to be like this. Just because it was a tropical storm in July and B and whatever it is, that any other stats that you want to add in there, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the same. Every storm is different.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate, there were impacts, of course, right? There was coastal flooding, some storm surge, high surf, rip currents. Probably going to be one of the sneaky impacts there, because even as the storm dissipates and goes away, there's still the high surf and swells that have been generated. And so anyone going in the water still have to be on guard through the end of the week and the weekend. So just to double down on that it's not a non-impact. There's still things that linger. But you're right. People usually think batten down the hatches, get ready for a storm. And I hope that this one does not make people not prepare for the next storm, because as we say, every storm is different.
Yeah, that's the main message of this storm.
Absolutely. We're at the second named storm, nothing else lurking out there in the Atlantic, which is good. Meanwhile, the Pacific is going bonkers.
Yes.
As we look elsewhere in the weather and move away from Bertha, there's a connection point to some severe weather and flooding rain that has happened a little farther to the north through like the Great Lakes, the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region earlier in the week. And perhaps you saw that. I saw on Tuesday there were some 24 tornadoes across the Northeast, parts of Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York, and several damaging wind reports. And then that front hit some of the moisture from Bertha and kind of like collided in the mid-Atlantic and caused some intense flooding for parts of,
pretty bad.
Yeah, like West Virginia and the Carolinas as well. So that's of note, I think, to just kind of make that point that everything's connected in the weather, right? There's always something that impacts something.
Everything's connected, and then Bertha's remnants are going to stay lingering in Texas, but they could be pulled back towards, the deep south, and again towards the Carolinas. I mean, the flood threat remains throughout, the rest of Friday, this week, and the weekend across the Carolinas. So it's something to watch out for, because these fronts during this time of year, they tend to be rather slow movers, right?
Yes.
I mean, we don't get those fast fronts, that usually happen in the spring or fall. So hang in there and be safe.
Summer, they're chilling, they take their sweet time, and they cause so many problems and headaches, like flooding rain. We hate it.
They're hot.
Speaking of hot, that's the other thing, right? As the Bertha went through, there is so much heat and humidity across the South and building heat elsewhere. But I don't know if I recall seeing a tropical storm and heat indices in like the 120s I saw in Louisiana.
Right?
Absurd.
It's ridiculous. I wrote about this on Yale because it was so amazing in a good sense of the word, right? In a weather nerd sense of the word.
Yes.
To see the tropical warning, then heat advisory or extreme heat warning. I mean, I had never seen that, and a lot of people in this field were pointing that out, that, it just wasn't happening. But then it was a mixture of things that collided together that caused this new phenomenon to happen, right?
Yeah.
And it was also, I would say, mainly due to the shear, the wind shear that pushed all the convection, because usually we get those thick layers of clouds that just keep the temperatures less hot. But having more periods of sunshine and still plenty of humidity, there goes your advisories, right? Your heat.
Just gotta be thankful that there were not widespread power outages or something that came from this storm, right? Because that would be probably the real impact post-storm if that were the case and people were without power dealing with that kind of heat.
With that heat. Ugh.
No good.
Bad. Yeah.
So speaking of heat, as we're closing in on our time already, Irene, it goes so fast. The heat.
We had a feeling this was going to happen, though.
Yeah, we got lots more to say, but we'll keep it as close as we can to 10 minutes. So the ridge that's been steering Bertha and just kind of parked in the middle of the country, that is now building, and that's going to mean even more excessive heat for parts of the Southwest, Texas, and even all the way up into the northern plains. We're talking Montana, yet again, getting up to 100 or beyond. So that's really the follow of this big ridge that has been driving so much of the country's weather. And I know you too saw the fires across the Pacific Northwest. There's some problems up there as well with air quality. Yeah, you saw that?
That too. I mean, if they get that ridge, then, another bad combination, right?
Ugh,
the heat, the smoke, the sinking air is bad combo.
Yeah, it is. There's like so many little stories across the country, the Southwest dealing with like monsoon moisture. So there is some relief from the heat, but it comes with like these pockets of flooding rain and flash flooding, especially in like fire burn scars. So lots of stories across the country. How do we end this with something positive, Irene? Okay, so Irene, I know a lot of your work is in bilingual communication, and I'm so curious. There's been a lot of advancements in recent years, especially to make communication even more effective for all communities. Can you talk about what that's looked like for you in your field?
Yeah, I mean, personally, when I started in weather and meteorology, in Spanish weather, to be precise, and on TV, there was only a handful of Spanish-speaking meteorologists across the United States. After my graduation, there has been literally an explosion of Spanish-speaking meteorologists. Now, pretty much every news station across the United States have at least one meteorologist, like a degree meteorologist. They have brought meteorologists from Puerto Rico. They have brought meteorologists from Spain. They have brought, ingrown meteorologists, right? The continental U.S. studied meteorologists. I've been so happy to see this growth. because one, the respect for the science has grown, the credibility. A lot of people, a lot of viewers back in the day, they used to switch to English when there was severe weather. Now they can stay watching in their language, and that sense of familiarity, that sense of community has grown so much. And I think that's something that's not replaceable. And if we're just talking about like products that have been evolving, I mean the National Hurricane Center, AMS, they have been working together, making glossaries, make sure that getting things translated, breakout groups that form to help these translations happen, and all this is behind the scenes. I've done translations. I don't put them out there like, oh, I did that translation. Like I do it for the field, and I do it for, to help my colleagues out, but ultimately to help the residents out, help, people across the United States that depend on this information.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to make sure the word is getting out to everyone, no matter the language, right? And I'm so glad to have seen improvements in that from the products issued by NOAA and beyond, to make sure that not only are there text products, but there are graphics. And it's really wonderful, because I'm hoping the message gets to more communities and keeps people safe, because that at the end of the day is the point.
And I love now that it's not only like products and broadcast meteorologists working with government meteorologists to try to improve things and to translate products and tools, but also the research that's being done behind it.
Yes,
I'll give a shout out, Joseph Trujillo Falcon, out of
Love him. Yep,
we all know him. I mean, I always tell him, you're going to be AMS president one day. And because all the research that he has done and all the effort that he has put for the community, for Spanish speaking in the US, it has so much value. And I know it's going to go on for years, and he's young and he's inspiring and the next generation, and he's doing great things.
He absolutely is, along with yourself as well. So bravo to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Irene, it's been so wonderful having you with us here this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here. Pleasure to see you again. So happy.
I can't wait to see you in real human form yet again and
come back on the show. 3D.
Yeah. All right, everyone, if you are listening, let us know what you think of this show. You can give us a like, a follow, comments on any of your favorite podcast platform. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Have a great week. We'll catch you next week.